The way to Bone Village is off to the right and up here. And this is another one of those times where it's like, imagine the string, you know? You pull the string tight through the maze. What corners does it wrap around? Wrap around those corners, you know? And be against those walls. So it's straight left out of that river area and down a little bit to get around that thing. And then up for a bit. And a bit more. Don't get fooled by that little spot to the right there, because it's not there. You got to go even further up. And around here. And through this little spot. And then down a bit. Straight right for a while. But, I mean, it's a little bit better to go down right for a minute. It's just kind of fun to slide along the deep water there. Alright, and then Bone Village is right off this beach here. So there's these little, like, cracky looking spots, you know. And then, so here's the deal. Stop in front of Bone Village. Alright. So in front of Bone Village, you menu. And so the menu that we're going to do here is going to prepare for... it's going to prepare Cloud to learn Death Sentence on both of our enemy skills. And it's going to just get some materia on Sid, or on Sid and Tifa that we need. And it's going to get Sid and Tifa as our party members. So I wrap up to PHS. And then I like to have Tifa in the middle. So we want to swap Barrett with Sid. But on the way down, I swap these two and then go over to Sid. Slightly suboptimal to do that, but it makes sense. Especially with weight tricking later, it looks a lot better to me with Tifa in the middle. So that's my preference. But, alright. So then, once you have gotten your PHS, we go to Materia. Then you can go into the exchange menu here and come down to Kate and just triangle on both of them. And now, we don't need any of this on Cloud anymore. What we need are the 2 enemy skills and Bahamut. So I go remove all and arrange. And then put the 2 enemy skills on. And then you can R1 down to Bahamut. We're actually going to cast Bahamut in a minute here. So that's going to be interesting. Swap over to Tifa. And we're going to want Death Blow on her armor here. We need a linked slot on Death Blow. And then put Steel. So I put Steel above it. We want Death Blow Steel. I put Steel above it so that we're not taking up this linked slot. And then for Sid, I put All Restore on him. So Sid gets All Restore. She gets Death Blow Steel. He gets enemy skills and Bahamut. And that's that. And then lastly, we just have to back row Sid. If Cloud does not have his limit, I would also suggest front rowing Cloud so that he gets his limit on the next fight. If his limit is really low, I would also Fury him. But don't Fury him yet, because the Fury will drop off. So don't do the Fury yet, because we're going to rest in Bone Village, and that would take his Fury away. But do front row him while you're here, because you're already in the order menu to back row Sid. But he's already got his limit, so we don't got to worry about it. Now, next up, we got to do something very tricky. Remember List and Stone from our friends earlier that are our field map RNG. I mentioned earlier that Stone only changes 3 times in the run. It starts at 1, it changes to 33 when you do squats, it changes every time that you hit the elevator button, which means it doesn't if you took the stairs, it stays at 33. And then this right here, when we initiate the digging minigame in Bone Village, it's going to set Stone for the last time in the run. But at the very end of the run, there's that part where you have to jump down the stones, and every one of them uses field RNG to decide whether you get into a battle. And so, we are going to manipulate that RNG later. And in order to manipulate it, we need Stone to be at a known value. And 33, if we took the stairs, wouldn't even do it. We need it to be 49. The way that you get it to 49 is if you exit this menu and run straight up and mash through the dialogue with the guy as quickly as possible. If you had exited this menu with your seconds digit on 12, 28, 44, or 56, those are the 4 times that will get you a stone of 49. Because your stone, when it loads the minigame, your stone is set based on your current in-game time. And so 12, 28, 44, 56 are your values. However, we are on BizHawk, so you're just going to have to trust me about this, because BizHawk, it's not going to work, but it will on PlayStation. Here we go. 44. Oh, I'm not the active window. Okay, we're going to wait for 56. So wait for it to tick over the 56, and then the action is, okay, 56, buffer up and run, and as soon as you get to this guy up here, mash, 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 mash. And there you go. Now you'll notice stone just updated. However, because we're on BizHawk and load times are not the same as PlayStation, it didn't work. But once again, just trust me, but we're going to have to manually set our stone here because BizHawk loading times are a thing. All right, so now, moving on. For this minigame, here's what you do. Hit square right away in order to just say done. Don't order a search, just say done. And then on your way over to the ladder, hit square again, because then this whole like explosion, animation, this thing typing out all happens while you're on the ladder. And then I use up, left, and L to go straight left off the ladder. And somewhere in this little area here is where the Lunar Harp is. So just stand, it's kind of on the right edge of the smoke, kind of up here a little bit. It's just basically in this area. So circle for the text box, square to tell him to dig here, circle for the text box, and this will get us the Lunar Harp. Now it's time for lid skip. On this part, if you buffer, run down left, and you mash circle, you have a chance to get the item without having to open the treasure chest. So just try your best at it. Lid skip. We did not get it, but that's fine. So there we go. We got the Lunar Harp. And now we just, we leave. So up, left, and L1 once again. And up here. Through the forest to the Coral Forest. We just run straight ahead. Ignore the summon materia. And now in the next screen, we want to be running straight up and get the water ring. And we should get a fight around here. Now, this is a little early to get this fight. I'm not super stoked about getting it here. I'm a little bit behind on steps. Now, this fight, don't run away from. So if you're on this step route, you're going to get this fight, and it's very important. If you're not on a step route, here you need to actually farm this encounter or an encounter that has this enemy, a bound fat. You have to get an encounter that has this enemy in it, because how this enemy works is if he dies to either a magic or a summon spell, he will retaliate with Death Sentence, and we need to learn Death Sentence. So you can't kill him with an enemy skill, can't kill him with items or a physical attack, it's got to be magic or summon, and that's why we have Bahamut. So swap over to Cloud, summon, Bahamut. It is possible to use a shorter summon here. If you were to like equip the wizard bracelet on Cloud and load him up with all the summon materia, he might be strong enough magic-wise to use like Ifrit or I think it has to be Rama actually instead, which is a shorter animation. But that's more menuing that might offset the animation time, and Bahamut is cool. So yeah, just use Bahamut. And so here is the retaliation. And this is also why you got to remember to take the Fury Ring off Cloud, because he's got to do this Bahamut. Or you can just put the enemy skills on a different character and cast Bahamut with them. But that's how I do it. Oh yeah, you can also you should also pay attention to whether Dazers dropped there, and you can also steal Dazers from a bound fat if you would like. Yeah, you can steal them from a bound fat. We have steal on Tifa for that reason, or sometimes they randomly drop, and that can help the Rude fight later. But alright, so here, now that we're out, we run up and grab the water ring from this chest, and now for this step route, it's time to take steps. 18 and a half. Alright, So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 and a half. And now, so about right here, I kind of run a little bit up left and then use a straight up to kind of drag on the side of this thing. And then when you get just past that corner, start holding up left, and that will hit Cloud on this side, and then up left out of this screen is the fastest way out. And then also the up left is nice because you can keep that up left held down to buffer into this screen. All right, nothing special about this fight. And now the way through this screen is kind of whip around this U here, and then just hold upright all the way through the exit of the screen. So just upright through all of this. And then on top of that, this step route asks for 18 steps right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. All right. So then we're loading into the world map from here, so you can just buffer up, a little bit of up left. And then these screens are not hostile. So don't really got to worry about tight movement here, except for the fact that it's fast. But yeah, just a little bit of upright around that corner and upright all the way out of the room. And then so here we just got to go straight into this house, and it is time to talk about Shell Hut Skip. So Shell Hut Skip is something that I was afraid to do when I first started running this, and if you are afraid also, real quick, just what you do here is you grab this elixir, and then you run over here. They say, hey, this looks comfortable. Let's take a rest. Once you run over here. And then after the cutscene, it gets dark. There's a cutscene here. And then there's an enemy skill materia back here. And then you would do the menu that we're about to discuss. And then you leave. And that's it. But we can skip the cutscene and the resting period by doing something called Shell Hut Skip. And so this is another paralysis dodge. Remember paralysis dodges? What we're going to do is we're going to trigger the cutscene up there and open this chest at the same time. And what's funny about that is it's because you can actually open this chest from the top floor using just like an exploitation of the way that this game is very generous as far as the Z-axis, you know, on as far as the Z-axis goes on opening chests in this game. Yeah, it's extremely generous. And so we can open it from the top, and the way that we do everything all at once, easily, this is the setup, is from the ladder, be holding up, right, and X all the way into the cutscene. Cutscene starts. So then as they start to walk back into Cloud, buffer down, right, and X. And Cloud bonks right here. Then release X until Cloud bonks again, walking, open the menu. And now out of the menu, you want to press X, circle, up, and right, all out of the menu. And what that's going to do is it's going to open the chest and trigger the cutscene at the same time. So at that point, just mash X, or mash circle, until you have to mash circle until you accept the elixir box, at which point we have to do more stuff. So, okay, so once again, that is upright and X into the cutscene. Down, right, and X, release X, menu. And then from here, up, right, X, and circle. And now you can see the field XYZ moving and our fractions moving. We can actually move around during the rest because we did a paralysis break. But it's dark. You know, it's dark in there. So if you want to brighten up the room, you want to turn the lights back on, all you got to do is just open your menu and then exit it. And now you can see what's going on during the rest. And what you got to do is come back here, grab the enemy skill, and go back into your menu. to do your Jenova menu. Once again, then, the whole thing together, upright and X, cutscene, downright and X, release X, menu, upright X and circle, mash the elixir box, menu, out of menu, come up here and grab the enemy skill, menu. Yeah? Yeah. That's the skip. Then you do a menu that we will discuss in a moment, but there is one more part to the skip, and this is where you got to be careful. This is where you can soft lock. So, coming out of this menu, did you see it kind of load? Did you see it kind of teleport Cloud? So you come out of the menu, Cloud teleports over here and it gets dark. And if we run over to the right, you can see that after a second, Sid and Tifa load in. So this is how you can get your game haunted if you're not careful, is that now it's dark. It's like dark in here and sad in here. And Tifa and Sid are looking away from you and they won't talk to you. They're just ghosts. And you can't get on the ladder. This is a soft lock. You cannot escape this. You're stuck in here. It's dark and no one will talk to you. So the trick is just, once again, you see how long it takes for Sid and Tifa to load in here? As long as you grab the ladder before that, you're fine. So just grab the ladder. So after you do your menu, exit holding X, and then right when you see Cloud teleport, just right down, grab the ladder. It's very easy. Don't worry about it. It's very easy, but you can soft lock. If you will soft lock if you don't grab the ladder fast enough, and then you leave. So let's do let's talk about what the menu is now that you actually do. After you grab the enemy skill, you open the menu, and it is time to prepare for the Jenova life fight. So first thing to do is to reapply tranks to everybody. Then we want to do we do the equipment or the materia first, do you think? Probably the equipment first. We need to put the water ring on Cloud. So we just picked up the water ring, and that's going to make Cloud immune to every one of Jenova Life's attacks. Then go over to Tifa. We're going to be relying on Tifa to hit this boss very hard. And so the Gygas Armlet greatly increases her attack power, and so does the Power Wrist. So Gygas Armlet Power Wrist for Tifa. Then pop back out to the materia. We just got a new enemy skill, and we're going to put it on Cloud. And then we also want to move one of the good enemy skills over to Sid. So we can select one of the good enemy skills, swap it with a bad enemy skill, and then L1 over to Sid and double tap circle to put the good enemy skill on Sid now. Then one more L1 over to Tifa, because these independent materia down here we want to be on Tifa. Cover, counter, long range. The reason for these three, cover, I want to get AP. We don't want cover on Cloud, though, because the Jenova life fight is going to require us to throw a Molotov on Tifa with Sid, and we don't want Cloud to cover it. But we do want cover to be getting AP, and the Power Soul gives double AP. So Tifa is the best candidate for cover here. And then counter for some extra damage, and long range so that she can have same attack power even from the back row. Now, counter is debatable here. A lot of runners, or at least some, don't bother with counter for the entire rest of the game. They just won't have counter equipped. I do like counter, at least for a while, or at least for some parts. So I do have counter equipped. It's debatable, though. Long range, though, required. Cover is also debatable, but I put it here for the AP. And then Death Blow is required here. Steel is actually for the Dazers before, I think. I don't think I actually use Steel anymore. It's really just for the extra dexterity at this point. So that's the materia. And then, so we did the equipment, we did the materia. That's the whole menu, right? So as a review, that is Trank everybody, Water Ring on Cloud, Gygas Armlet Power Wrist on Tifa, enemy skill, and then the cover counter long range on Tifa. Also, one more thing that is of note is that if you are not already in ATB weight, make sure that you are in ATB weight for the Jenova Life fight. And after you do that menu, grab that ladder. All right. So we're going to do the entirety of Shell Hut Skip, including the menu now. So it's upright and X, into the cutscene. Downright and X, release X, menu, upright X and circle, mash, menu, exit menu, grab enemy skill, menu, Tranks on the party, watering, Gygas Armlet Power Wrist, enemy skill, cover counter long range, and we're done. All right. So now we just leave and buffer down left, get into this scene, and it is time to go fight Jenova Life. So that is straight ahead here. Oh, one more thing I didn't point out is that optionally you can clear out Tifa's limit break here. That is a safety strat for if you screw up the Jenova Life fight. If you're confident in your Jenova Life execution, you don't have to clear Tifa's limit. Because what's going to happen is we're going to use a bunch of death blows on Jenova Life, and if during her paralysis, but if her paralysis ends, then for safety you want to do regular attacks, and if she has a limit break, you can't do a regular attack. Anyway, once you get to this screen, this Comet up here, very similar to that chest earlier, you can actually grab it from down here. You can just go whoop. So what I do is I kind of use, you see this little section right here between the between these things. You know, I go like halfway into it and then walk up and right mashing circle to grab it is kind of how I try to, as quickly as possible, grab this thing coming up and then just do that and then run down. So that's the Comet materia. We're going to need that later. Exercise good grinding movement on Cloud to get him, you know, hug in the middle here. And then buffer left once you get there to get out of this little thing. Straight down the stairs. Now, this part, you actually have to mash on the D-pad, kind of. You can't just hold a direction on the D-pad like you can in other jumping sections in this game. Yeah, so just mash the D-pad. You'll be fine. Left, up, 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 left. And then this one starts the cutscene. Now, you can press X, or you can press circle from all the way back here in order to get Cloud to auto run up to Eris, but sometimes he walks and it takes forever. So I run up to Eris, like run up to about the middle and then start pressing circle, because then that movement right there, that little walk into position, it takes too long if he does it all the way from the stairs back there. Otherwise, just match through this part, and then on this part, close your eyes and shut your ears, and don't believe anything that anybody in chat says to you about what happens on this part.